At the top of our newscast, we told you about the fire that occurred over the weekend at the youth hostel that basically claimed the life of 3 young girls. We joined Hippolyta Novella for that story.
Three teenagers, 16-year-old Shadisha Arnold, 16-year-old Anna Carlos, and 14-year-old Elizabeth McCoy, died as a result of the fire that had engulfed the wooden structure they were in at the youth hostel compound on mile 21 on the George Price Highway.
The loss of these young women is an incredible tragedy that I believe has been felt by everyone in this nation.
The 3 girls had been locked inside the building. They were unable to save themselves, nor were officers able to rescue them. The 3 girls had run away the day before, and after being detained once more, they were placed on punishment, which for them meant being locked up inside their dorms. A padlock which had been malfunctioning was used to lock up the girl, a clear breach of protocols. The girls should have never been locked in that manner. According to Starla Bradley, the director of the Community Rehabilitation Department, under which the youth hostel falls, one of the 3 girls had lit a pillow on fire with a lighter she had smuggled in.
It is our understanding that 3 of the girls who went AWOL the day before were presumably planning another escape. The plan was to start the fire in order to create a distraction. This would prompt the officer to open the door and let them out, and they would run away while the officers were occupied trying to out the fire. Shortly after 2 p.m., one of the 3 girls who was confined in the room, called out to the officer and said that one of the girls in the room had lit a pillow and that there was a fire. Now, we're not certain how quickly the girls called for help, but from the various accounts we received, the fire was already in a huge blaze on the top bunk when the officer went to the room to check on the girls. This was corroborated by some of the female residents who were in the building along with the officer at the time. The officer then proceeded to try to open the padlock which was on the door, but had difficulty opening the lock. The girls inside started to panic, and in an effort to try to out the fire, the girl who it is said had started the fire threw a blanket on top of the flame, and this fed the fire. All accounts are that the fire spread very quickly, and since the room is small, the smoke soon engulfed the entire room, making it difficult for them to see. The second officer was called from the basketball court, and she came in and took the keys from the other officer and also attempted to open the door. She stated that she could not because the smoke was too heavy, and sent for a flashlight. Several other persons also entered the building to try to get the girls out, but the fire and smoke made it difficult for them to see.
It is a tragedy, and what makes everything worse was the fact that the firefighters got to the scene nearly half an hour after they first got the call at 2:30. The 3 girls could not be saved by then.
No, we couldn't have really saved them because the timeline that we respond from here and the tight closeness of the compartment structure, the bodies, they already perished and burned by the time we arrived on scene.
Would you say that you all responded in a prompt and effective fashion?
Indeed we did. Indeed we did. The thing with these trucks is that once you get them running at speed, when you slow them down, it takes some time to build back up the speed. And the number of speed bumps that you go, the truck is basically on a incline of speed and then a decline of speed, an incline of speed and then a decline of speed, and it definitely has an impact on time.
And the untimely death of these 3 teenage girls has sent a shockwave of anger and sadness across the country. The uncle of Elizabeth McCoy, Charles Galvez, and the mother of Shadisha Arnold, Audra Arnold, who had raced to the scene after hearing the bad news, spoke to the media.
I wonder why they couldn't open the door to get the child out of the building.
How did you learn of it?
Because then they called me and tell me about the fire. Other part of that we don't know nothing about
Somebody
the fire.
from here?
No, my brother called me and tell me about the fire.
So what do you know at this point?
But we don't know nothing already said that the body is still must be burned yet, that's all, nothing else. And nobody come to me and tell me nothing, I work out here or nothing.
Did you think it might have been your daughter?
But by the time it tell me said the tree had a runway yesterday, after she named me in it, I said probably that she have to be in tree where they locked down.
Okay, so she was in a group that ran away yesterday. Then they catch them back and they put her in a lockdown.
I had encouraged my niece to get a good education and to be a good person in the society. I wanted the best for her where her education is concerned. So I was always supportive in talking to her and give her a positive direction. So, you know, it's bothering me a lot that she has departed from this planet this type of way, you know.
According to CEO Judith Alpuche, 3 officers have been placed on administrative leave as an independent investigation has been commissioned.
We have asked Ms. Margaret Nicholas to lead an independent investigation of this matter. And the reason why we have asked her is because we believe that she has the necessary skills and she has one characteristic which is absolutely invaluable in this. She will call it like she sees it. We also have the support of UNICEF, who will provide oversight for this investigation. They have agreed to accompany the entire process.
I feel that the easy thing to do might be to resign and put all of this behind me, but there's still the work to do. The work still continues. We have a team of people who are committed to this process, so I can't answer any further than that.
Reporting for Love News, I am Hipólito Novello.
Following the press conference, Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Human Development, Social Transformation and Poverty Alleviation, Judith Alpuche, told the media that a loan from the Indo-American Development Bank has been approved for a fire suppression system to be built. The loan falls under the Community Action for Public Safety CAPS program. The building of the system has already commenced, as shared by Alpuche.
One of the features that we have gotten because of the experiences with the delay is what we're calling a fire suppression system. So it's about $154,000 investment, and we just got the go-ahead from IDB because the loan is one of the features that we have gotten because of the experiences with the delay is what we're calling a fire suppression system. So it's about $154,000 investment, and we just got the go-ahead from IDB because the loan is an IDB loan. That was not at all a feature of the loan agreement, but they have agreed with us that that is an essential piece. And so that is currently under construction at the youth hostel.
And by when would you expect to see it all?
You know, I would really need to check to see when that, but not, it certainly has to be completed within a month or two, because that's when the loan closes. So it should be up by December, early January. The exact dates of the contract escape me, but it's about a month to a month and a half to get this fire suppression system built.
Authorities in Belize are trying to locate David Nanes Schnitzer. Nanes is wanted in Mexico, and police here managed to arrest him on Ambergris Key. He is also the man who managed to slip away and subsequently avoid extradition. Today, his whereabouts are not known, and the Mexican government is not happy with Belize. Nanes is accused of defrauding Mexicans of millions of dollars. He is also the man who managed to get his hands on nearly every single identification card in Belize, including a driver's license, a social security card, and a boat operator's license. He was arrested and his nationality revoked. But after Judge Dennis Hanuman Singh heard his bail application and decided to grant him bail at a sum of $10,000, authorities have not seen Nanes. Prime Minister Dean Barrow shared his views on the case.
We would have loved to simply send him across to Mexico. But we have due process. We have legal requirements that we must follow. And in the course of trying to comply with due process requirements in this country, he was taken before the courts. The courts gave him bail. I have my own views about that determination of the courts, but you know, in this country we respect judges, and so that's what it was. He was charged for whatever he was charged with. I was there. The court gave him bail. The police immediately charged him. The judge gave him bail right away again. I find that very unusual. I find that strange. I find that disturbing. But I am not going to go further because I don't want to be accused of contempt of court or casting any aspersions. But I can say I found that very strange. It means then, if we had come with other charges, what? He would have been given bail again? Very, very worrying, but no doubt the judge who heard the bail application and made his decision knows why he granted bail.
Mexican authorities are not happy that one of the most wanted men in their countries managed to so easily evade extradition. However, Barra says that he has no regret that proper procedures were followed.
Indeed, they had, as I am being informed, sent a request for his extradition. It now turns out that while there is an extradition agreement between Belize and Mexico, it was never acted upon. It was never brought into force here in Belize. And so that meant that we couldn't keep him on the basis of any extradition warrant. The Mexicans are very upset, understandably so, but we have to follow our rules and requirements. We have to follow due process, as I said. We have to comply with our laws. I very much regret that we were not able to simply ship him out to the Mexicans, but I do not regret the fact that we chose to follow the law, even at the risk of offending our best neighbor. We chose to be true to our culture, our legal requirements, our democracy.
Sir, there has been an issue raised that because this man is such an important or an infamous figure, Belizean authorities ought to have been running some sort of surveillance on him the immediate moment he was bailed.
Well, you'll have to ask the police about that. It was my understanding that that was supposed to have been done. You really need to find out from them how he was able to give them the slip. I am not yet briefed on that, but you're perfectly correct. That was the instruction. Shadow this man, because we would have found some other charge or some other basis on the law to detain him again. But he obviously gave the police the slip.
Barra says that there is an ongoing investigation in the matter.
You know, when there are things that make clear that there is obviously a level of collusion, not to say corruption, on the part of public servants. I don't mean just civil servants. I'm talking about everybody in the public service, including ministers. When anything happens that demonstrates that things can be done to circumvent the law in consequence of the collusion of persons in authority, that is very distressing, it is very upsetting. Of course, we're never ever going to have a Simon Pure society, but it leaves me extremely distraught.
Sir, will there be any investigation?
Sorry?
Will there be any investigation at the level of the Ministry of Immigration?
There is already an investigation. Remember, he had nationality, yes, and that was revoked. That's another thing that, again, in terms of following the law, if we had simply revoked the nationality and handed him across, but the law requires that we publish notice of the revocation. Look, while a lot of things went wrong initially, leading to, for example, the grant of nationality when, as I understand it, he didn't properly qualify. In the end, what prevented us from simply handing this man across is our determination to follow the law. And I repeat, once the minister signed the revocation order, you might well ask, why not simply hand him across? Because the law says you must publish it in the Gazette, you must serve notice on him, and that is what caused time to elapse, which permitted his going before the courts and getting bail from the judge.
Is there any investigation going on as to find out how he got that nationality and other documents?
We know how he got it. That's why the minister revoked it, because the minister was able to determine that in fact it was improperly had, that documentation support put forward in support of the nationality application was fraudulent. I am sure that every effort will be made to bring before the Public Services Commission whoever might have been responsible for processing, approving